PlayStation 4 Pro. The sales are pretty good. Of course, we have like UK sales because yeah, I like it that they are like reporting that we got some data from that because yeah, otherwise it would be like, how is the thing doing? I mean, in my timeline, I saw a lot of people buying it, but of course, I follow a lot of like people in the gaming industry, so that's not really an indication of how well the system is doing. Anyway, PlayStation 4 Pro sell-through in the UK was 42,000 units last week in the UK. So PS4 Pro accounts for 50% of all the PS4 sales in November so far, and that's for 2 weeks. So that's in the UK. Of course, maybe in the US it's totally different, blah blah blah. But still, this is the data we have right now, and I thought it was pretty interesting to share. So, what is your take? Do you see this being like, okay, it's now doing really well, but later down the line, people will see that okay, it's not really that interesting, or people will see it at their friend's house and will be like, whoa, I really have to get it. What's your stance?
I think that if they iron out the stupid amount of issues that it has right now, it could be something that people will adopt, especially if they have 4K TVs. But I've been seeing a lot in Facebook comments and just on Twitter and stuff like that, people buying it and having Vizio or LG or Samsung TVs that aren't fully HDR compatible, because I was talking about landmines with 4K TVs a while back. And there's a new thing that TVs are coming out and saying that they have HDR, but they actually aren't full HDR. But unless you look that up online, you're not going to know that. So you're going to buy an HDR premium device, and that HDR premium only allows some HDR content to be displayed. But in the case of the PS4 Pro,
is it like HD ready and full HD?
It's HDR ready is what they basically coined it as. Then they call it HDR premium. So you think you're buying an HDR display, but in reality, it only, in some cases, could play HDR content with a little bit of an improvement. But in the case of the PS4 Pro, people have been reporting that some of their TVs aren't scaling properly. The HDR functionality is not showing up at all. Even with the 1S, people were complaining about that with this whole Fox HDR type issue. But if you have HDR 10 or HDR, I think it's called Pro actually, ironically, then you're gonna have the full HDR capabilities. You're not gonna run into those issues that those other TVs are having, and so there's a lot of issues with the 4K market right now, and because of that, they're translating over a little bit into the PlayStation 4 Pro market. People buying it, not getting the full result out of it. And so I think it's definitely going to pick up sales-wise once more, 4K TVs get bought. A lot of people were already eyeing, like, there's a Best Buy deal right now where you could buy a Sony 4K TV. It's HDR 10, completely compatible with the PS4 Pro. You buy both of them, you get the bundle for $1,000, where if you buy them both separately, it's like $1,800 or whatever. It's like super expensive. Wow. So it's a really good 4K TV, and I could see a lot of people picking up that, and then also other bundles as well, and also just TVs that are on sale. There's gonna be a lot of 4K TVs on sale, so it's definitely gonna be a Black Friday for 4K. And then also the Black Friday after that will even enhance that market even more, and then even more and even more. And
then it's pretty smart from Sony to release this system right now.
It is, because if you really think about it, it's gonna take 2 Black Fridays for the Scorpio to release, because they said that's gonna be holiday 2016. When is that holiday gonna be? Is it gonna be December, or is it gonna be November?
2017, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the issue. So if they skip November, then that gives the PS4 Pro.
They will not do it. If we look at the recent console releases, they are always. I mean,
but we still gotta speculate. Yeah, we still gotta speculate about that.
But it would be super stupid.
It would be very stupid. But what I'm saying is, it would still give the PS4 Pro a pretty decent head start. And so once people, the thing that people understand is, yes, the PS4 Pro is gonna look a little bit better. It's gonna be basically a graphics upgrade. A lot of people are like, oh, it's just like PCs upgrade for more graphics. Well, in my case, I upgrade for more frame rate because first world problems, right? But it's really one of those things where you're going to buy it because you are seeing artifacts on your 4K TV from your standard PS4. And when you switch from a PS4 normal that's getting upscaled to 4K, and you switch to a Pro that's no longer being as upscaled, you are going to notice a lot more of a difference than if you're just like a 1080p gamer and you're still playing at 1080p, or for some reason your upscaling technology is not that great with your 4K TV and stuff like that. So it's one of those things where it's going to be varied results, there's going to be varied reviews, but right now reviews are somewhat okay, and the sales are translating as well, and it's a lot easier to sell a new console, I think, than it is to sell like a new technology like VR, especially since people already know what they're getting with the Pro, and the sense that it's a console. People don't know what they're really getting with VR because they have to try it out, and there's limited amounts of demo stations.
Exactly.
So it's
on the other hand, 4K you also have to see it, and
person,
HDR.
yeah.
I think HDR is the big killer app. I don't really believe in 4K gaming right now because a lot of the games are just simply not really optimized. They're just upscaled, and
That's true.
For example, The Last of Us. There's a PS4 Pro patch for this PS3 game that was like remade for the PS4, and now it's upscaled to 4K. It's like, what the heck? That I mean, if you just build, for example, Horizon is supposed to be really awesome on the PlayStation 4 Pro. I think that they got more time to really, look at the possibilities of 4K. Utilize it.
What I wonder, I don't think I asked you this. Did they actually set up two different TVs side by side, one with the PlayStation 4 normal and then one with a PlayStation 4 Pro? Okay, so that's what would be interesting, because there was a lot of people that went to the original event that they actually did that. So they had Uncharted 4 on a normal PlayStation 4, upscaling to 4K. And then they also had Uncharted 4, I think it was Uncharted 4, it might have been another game, that was PlayStation 4 Pro, and it was, in PlayStation 4 Pro mode on the 4K TV. And people were saying how there was a lot of artifacts on, sort of like graying, blurring, and stuff like that on the one TV, and then there wasn't on the other one. That's the difference for people who own 4K TVs that they're really going to notice, because you're not stretching the image out. So yes, theoretically, you're not really going to see a massive difference of graphical quality in terms of like more herbs and stuff on the ground.
It will just
like
not
that.
look bad on your 4K TV.
Exactly.
It's really like that.
Until it's fully utilized, a little bit more like Horizon, where they are going to utilize that more horsepower. But all the games that are out right now, Resident Tomb Raider Herb utilized it pretty decently, but most of them just basically...
On the other hand, that is also a 2015 game, right? So that's like also interesting to note. And with Horizon, I think that looks really good because that game has a lot of colors, and HDR just makes your colors just feel alive. It's really, really insane, because what we could do, and this was pretty interesting, we could like with the remote we could switch from like standard mode to HDR mode, and if you do that, it's like you don't want to go back. It's like, how could I have played without HDR for all this time? It's like you thought you saw colors, but no, you were wrong. It's like insane.
I definitely know that feeling. I play with SweetFX, and SweetFX has an HDR setting. I mean, it's software HDR, but if you turn off SweetFX, it literally looks like you're looking at fog on your screen. You're like, what the hell is this crap?
It's like gray or something like that.
Yeah, you're like, what have I been playing with this entire time? But your eyes get used to it. That's what we were talking about last episode. Your eyes trick you. Once you change that little bit, you just can't go back to it, because your eyes are used to the better image. And you're like, this other image looks like crap. And I think a lot of people who see the unit on display, especially when Horizon comes out and they see the demo with the PlayStation 4 Pro, I think a lot of people are going to want to buy a PlayStation 4 Pro. So it's just going to take stuff to actually utilize it for, I think, to really make it fly off the shelves. And that's just going to be a matter of time.
I think it's safe to assume that you really need a 4K full HDR display to really have this PlayStation 4 Pro make sense, because I also saw a lot of people just buy it because it was the next console, and they play a lot on it, and I thought, okay, this should be better, right? Well, that's not really the case, and that's why I think that they should have called it PlayStation 4K. because that's actually really what it only does. And with PlayStation 4 Pro, you really, and that's why I criticize it so much, you really make it sound like, okay, this is for the pro people, the people that play a lot of games, that want quicker load times, that that want a better menu. Because I was toying around with the PlayStation 4 Pro menu, and it was still like I was waiting and share button, and it was just the same OS, it was the same like speed, and I don't see why that's happening on a pro device. So yeah,
because they threw a 5400 RPM super old technology in a so-called pro device. Like,
yeah, it's like really a 4K. It's 4K machine. It's for people that are not that just want 4K gaming.
It's to make PlayStation 4 actually tolerable with a 4K TV upscale. Because yes, it's not a true 4K image, but the upscaled from 1800p is gonna look light years better than from 900 to 1080p 4K. So.
Yeah. Okay, we will have to follow, of course, the PlayStation 4 Pro news, because it's pretty interesting to see how this will do. Because if this does really well, then Sony was right. And then if you have like a good press conference and add some really awesome features that is appealing to way more people that don't have 4K TVs, I think we will see more console upgrades in the future.